Hello friends, Rusty Miner coming at you with another knife science video. Today we're going to talk about blade grinds. We're just going to talk about a couple, probably the two most popular on your pocket knives. That's going to be the flat grind and the hollow grind. I just kind of want to describe those to you. So the flat grind, we have an edge, and then what we actually do to get there is we work in a flat grind to get down to that edge. In the hollow grind, you're actually going to see where the grind meets the shoulder, there's a little bit of this roll, and it comes down, and I have this, kind of straight, but it actually might even come more like this. This one's kind of the shape of the grinding wheel is what we're getting in there. And the hollow grinds, they're going to get you nice thin behind the edges, but so will the flats. So let's talk about those two in particular today. Let's start off with one of the more famous flat grinds, and that is the Ontario Rat. And with the Rat, it's considered a full flat grind. What does that mean? That means it goes all the way to the top. So you start grinding and then at the top and go all the way down. Why is that a good thing? Well, you can start with a thicker blade stock and you can get to a thinner edge with a full flat grind. If you're not using a full flat, this one's also flat, but it doesn't start at the top. Well, then first we're going to call this a saber grind. So it's a flat grind, but doesn't start at the top. And so we call that a saber grind. And then it's not always, you have to either increase that angle of this grind, or you're not going to get as thin behind the edge there. So when we have a flat grind, we can also have, I believe it's saber, I'm not sure, saber grind. I'm going to show you another one with, well, I'm not 100% sure if we're dealing with a flat or a hollow. So, how do you check that out? Well, you can actually take something that's flat, okay, something like level, like a ruler. Let me drop this down a little. And if you hold it here, see if we can see, and if you can see any gap between there, you'll know that it's a hollow grind. So a lot of people will take a ruler or something. I don't know, can you guys see that gap right there? So this one is a hollow grind. Now this one's easy for me to see because as it reaches out here, you can see how it's round. So on a lot of these other Tantos, if they reach into a flat, this is a flat grind here, you'll see that roundness. So this is a hollow here. Okay, and we're going to talk about the differences in just a second when we do some cutting here. So some other ones you might see, I'm not going to talk about today, is a Scandi grind. I'm going to include that when I talk about my Mora and how to sharpen Scandi grinds. You might even see chisel. I don't have any chisel knives, but they're just going to be straight down and they're going to come with one side, and then your apex is actually right. Imagine all this stuff is gone. And chisel, you guys know what a chisel looks like. So I'm going to show you some demonstration on the grinds. Okay, and we're back. And the first one we're going to look at, again, is the Ontario Rat. And this is going to be a full flat grind. So what we're doing here, as we're cutting what I'd like you guys to notice, okay, is the material we're cutting is getting pushed. It follows the shape of the blade straight up. So as this continues to go down, you know, it's pushing the material out of the way. So there's nothing, you know, there's the friction of that side. Now we'll use a hollow grind. And as this knife begins to cut, what's happening here, I don't know if you guys can see that, is we're running, this material's being pushed, kind of curling this way or that way. So as we continue to cut with this, it's pushing that material out of the way. So we got some friction on the shoulder. This is called the shoulder of the blade. Well, let's take a look. Well, let's get something that I know is a flat grind. Okay, so we'll take a look at this. This is a flat grind, but we got a little bit of a shoulder, but they put the swedge right there. So as we're pushing down on this one, see if we can get that in there for you guys. Okay, so right there, we're past the grind, but the shoulder is thinner. Let's see if we can do that. The shoulder is thinner than the grind actually. So as we continue through here, there's nothing catching up on that. As it passes through that material, okay, there's no friction behind the existing grind. So this part of this knife does not create any friction. We got the similar thing here going on with this Twosun. Okay, hopefully you guys can see that. Okay, so as we get right here, what's happened is we're at the widest point of the knife right there, and now that we continue to push through, there's nothing else to be causing any drag on this. So all the friction is just coming from the grind itself. When you reach this part, it's actually either the same thickness or thinner. However, on a hollow grind, when you reach this point, you know, it starts to curl. It's pushing it out. I'll bring that sheet in here one more time. So that hollow grind is kind of curving here. Doesn't mean it's a bad thing. Just want to make you guys aware of that. So those are a couple different grinds that I have in my collection. We'll talk about types of tips in the next video, and we'll talk about some geometry of the blades. So thanks for sticking around, guys.